George Bruno with the 21 report, the European edition. And we're in Warsaw, Poland. We're talking with Ryan Black. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, you just got off stage and you were talking about the 5 alpha traits. And I asked you what are your 2 favorites, and you said taking responsibility and indifference. What does that mean?
Sure. So I think a huge thing these days, especially in the manosphere and online, it's always been present, but I think some of the factors have kind of really brought it into relief, is I think many guys out there are too quick to blame external factors, especially external factors that they don't have control over, for the lack of results in their life. And so too many times I see comments online and on forums and stuff like that. I speak to guys, speak to friends and things like that, and they're like saying things about how feminism is ruining society. And I agree to a large extent. There's lots of things that are very negative out there. There's a portrayal of men in the media as essentially being, we're all rapists apparently now. Gillette is telling us, how dare you go up and, oh, there's a girl walking past. I'm going to go up and say hi. Oh, no, not cool, bro. And so, this stuff is all really happening. But the question is, it's like, okay, that's society, that's an ad, that's what's going on out there. But do you have control over that? Like, do you have control over the media, over what ads Gillette put out, over what the suicide rate is for men on average? It's like, those are all bad things, but it's like, I only have control over myself, like my physical body, what I do, what I say, my mindsets and my beliefs in here. So it's very easy to go like, oh, well, I don't have a girlfriend because like all women are like feminazis. And it's like, well, I don't know. More of them now these days are, maybe, but there's still plenty of women out there that aren't and don't buy into that. I mean, we're in a country here in Russia as well. There was something in the media just the other day saying that like, Russian women basically just haven't embraced feminism at all. They're just not interested in it. So there's plenty of women around the world that don't buy into that kind of ideology and that narrative. And so why not take responsibility for your own results in your own life and go out and create more opportunities to find the type of girl that you'd like to be with that shares your values and just do that instead of going, oh, well, there's no point because, of society or whatever it is. It's the same kind of thing as when a business owner or an entrepreneur goes, oh, my business is failing because of the economy. It's like, well, the economy is a pretty big thing. There's lots of areas of it, and you can't really affect the economy, but you can, start prospecting and bring out a new product and call your existing customers. And there's all kinds of stuff you can do to create opportunities to grow your business if you want to. But most people take the easy way out, which is to go basically not take responsibility and go, oh, it's other people's fault that I'm not happy and I'm in a place that I don't want to be and I'm not getting the results that I want to get. So I think the number one thing, like if I'm ever going to take a client on to work with them, in person, and go out in the field with them and spend 6-8 hours a day with them, they have to have done that first step of taking responsibility and being like, if they're blaming other people for their problems, I'm not even going to work with them. So I think that's definitely a key one. When it comes to indifference, my definition of indifference isn't this idea of like, oh, like I don't care, whatever. So like, you go up and try and start a conversation with a girl, and then she's like, oh no, thank you. And you're like, oh, whatever, I didn't even like her anyway. Like that's not indifference, that's just ego. That's just you sort of projecting this false sense of like, oh, I didn't care, when actually you do, and it hurt you and you're hurt by this rejection. So you put on this false facade of like, oh, I don't care. That's not indifference. Indifference is not emotionally investing in any one particular outcome of the situation. And so too many guys, they see an opportunity, and they want this. They want the book. They want the material. They want the script, so that they like, oh, I'll say all these things, and then I'll get this result.
Mm-hmm.
And they want that sense of like, essentially that sense of certainty that, oh, I'm going to get this result if I do all this stuff right.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is that no, like even the greatest conversationalist in the world, even the greatest performer in the world, even the greatest pickup artist, if someone would call themselves that in the world, doesn't know what exactly is going to happen with every single interaction or thing that they do. You can't know that. You can't know how somebody is going to react to what you're going to do. So this search for certainty is an illusion in and of itself. And what happens is guys go, okay, I'm going to learn all these things, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to do this. And so they've invested emotionally. They have this essentially this neediness. Like, I need for the stuff I say to get a good reaction, right? I need it to work. I need to get a result. I need to get her phone number. I need to get her to smile. I need to get her to like me. And if that doesn't happen, then I've decided to feel unworthy and unhappy and angry and all the rest of it. And that's neediness, and that's why that's very, very unattractive. So the flip side of that is indifference, which is just like, I'm going to go and do my best. I'm going to give value. One of the other ones I talked about earlier is just giving value. Like, I'm just going to give value. I'm going to be social. I'm going to interact with people. I'm going to say hi. I'm going to, whatever it is, I'm going to go first. I'm going to risk maybe looking like an idiot or saying the wrong thing or having people laugh at me, but I'm just going to give some value. And then if someone is interested, fantastic. And if someone isn't, that's okay too. So I'm indifferent to any one particular outcome, as in I'm not judging any one particular outcome as good or bad, or anything to do with me, or that there's something wrong with me and that I failed.
Yes.
If it doesn't go exactly the way that I hope for, I'm just going to go in, throw some value out there, and whoever bites, and fantastic. And if no one's interested, that's cool too.
So there's no deep emotional investment in the very beginning.
Absolutely, which is, I mean, that only makes sense. Like, that's why I find it, when women especially will do this, like on online dating and stuff like that, they'll be like, oh, what are you looking for in like the messages before you've even met up for a date? To me, that's really weird, because it's like,
how do you know?
I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a weird, like, how have you invested so much that you care? It's like, let's just fucking meet each other.
I'll let you know after I meet you.
Exactly. It's the same thing. Like, girls can feel it when it's like, the guy feels like, oh, I really need this. And they also feel something that, like, they'll definitely feel more attraction if they feel like, this guy likes me, but he doesn't need me. Like, he clearly has other options and has other stuff in his life that's more important than me. And although they'll act and say things, especially in a relationship, as if they don't like that, that is an attractive trait. Because it's weird to be like, I don't know anything about you. We've just met, but I desperately need you to like me. That's weird. That's creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. What is the most frequent issue that you encounter when dealing with men? Is it confidence? Is it that they've been deprogrammed of their masculinity by society, by the media? What do you encounter?
Yeah. So we tend to get a large amount of guys with engineer in their job title. So it's probably the most frequent job title that we see on the application forms to work with us. And so those guys tend to be very analytical, very logical. They did well in school. And doing well in school is kind of a double-edged sword, because yes, you'll probably be able to get a good job, but you've been programmed with a belief that the more I think about things and the more knowledge I have and the more right I am, then the more I'm winning and the better my life will be. And the more people will, everything will go great. Mm-hmm. The more things I know and the more right I am. And if there's ever an issue or a problem, the way to solve it is to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they try to apply that same mindset to their dating lives, and it fails miserably.
Yes.
Because you can't outthink your way out of social anxiety.
Right.
In fact, thinking about it and analyze, be like, why do I feel like this? I shouldn't be feeling this way. Why can't I stop feeling this way? That only makes it worse. So definitely programming in terms of society and sort of and schooling and stuff like that gives them really, really bad mindsets. Being overly logical and analytical, especially in social interactions, right? So helping them be more playful, something we spend a lot of time doing, being able to improvise and just be in the moment and be present.
And engineers are really not known for their playfulness.
Exactly. So that's something that we spent a whole week with one guy on exactly that, just getting him to be able to look at, for example, I went with him to an art gallery in London, and the game we were playing was literally just to look at a painting and just make up something about that was wrong, like just whatever comes to mind. Like, oh, this painting was painted in 1752 by the architect of the building, which is whatever. And he couldn't do it because in his mind, if the thing that he's about to say isn't correct, then he is not allowed to say it. And so, yeah, one of the things we will often work on with those guys who are very logical is being okay with saying something that's stupid, that's silly, and just having fun with that. And doing things like in improv comedy, there's the concept of yes and, right? So just whatever somebody says, even if it's right, if it's wrong, you just agree with it, and then you say and also, right? And so we do exercises and stuff around that. So being playful, getting out of that programming, and fundamentally, like it all comes back to something that I think I said. It all comes back to the concept of self-acceptance, right? Acceptance in general. So acceptance of whatever happens has happened. So accept it, because fighting against a thing that has already happened is a complete pointless waste of time. Yes. It's already happened. And then also accepting yourself. So being okay with yourself, right? That's something, we were just talking, and one of the guys was like, oh, your presentation was really good. Oh, he said your performance is really good. Was really good. And I thanked him, and I was like, well, it helps when it's not a performance, because it's just me talking. Yeah. And hopefully when people see, like one thing that people remark on is like, if I'm standing on stage or I'm speaking to you or I'm speaking to one of the guys out there, I'm pretty much the same person. Yeah. Like I might be a little bit more high energy, like on the camera or on the stage to kind of get the message across, but I'm pretty much the same person because I have accepted myself. Like I'm okay with who I am. I know that, I might look a bit weird to some people, and I might say some stuff that might offend some people, and people might not agree with me or whatever it is, but I'm okay with who I am. And if people, don't like me or are offended by me, that's totally fine. I'm okay with it. And I think so many people, they're just in life in general, not necessarily a guy who's into, learning about meeting women or whatever it is, they are coming from a place of fundamentally, and this is where I think that most of the material out there, like Mystery Method, to me, Mystery Method comes from a deep place of lack of self-worth and self-loathing fundamentally. It's teaching guys that a girl who's all the way up here, who's so beautiful, would never be interested in you unless you do all of these things to bring her down, and DHV and AMOG those guys and neg her and do all that. You have to do all these things. And then once you've done these techniques correctly, then it's okay to just express that you're interested in her. Because if you ever just expressed that you're interested from the very beginning, of course she would instantly reject you, because look at you, you're worthless, you're disgusting, you're nothing. That's what Eric really believed, like deep down, that's what he believes about himself. And that's why whenever there's any issues in his life, and when his girlfriend breaks up with him, he fucking almost commits suicide. Yeah. So that it comes down to self-acceptance, and teaching guys, working with guys and doing exercises and stuff like that. I mentioned social freedom and stuff like social freedom exercises, is just doing things where you're doing something a little bit silly. You're saying something that's, not correct, that's a bit wrong, it's a bit silly, where somebody might judge you negatively, where someone might think, oh, that guy's being weird. and then just coming to terms and sitting in the moment and being okay with it, and then realizing, oh, my feeling, like my feelings and my thoughts and my ego and all that and what people think of me, none of that is me. None of that is actually who I am. And when you do that, and when you accept, like, I accept who I am. I might not be exactly where I want to be. I might not have exactly the results I want. I might not, I'm certainly not perfect. But deep down, who I actually am, like my core values and all that stuff, who I am is actually pretty awesome. And then from there, expressing from that place is fundamentally, that's what authenticity is, which is a big part of what me and Sasha and our company teaches.
So you're actually saying that there's hope for guys who feel like there's no hope.
Yeah, I mean, I see it a lot online, and I've even kind of gone into some of the more negative, like, online communities and stuff like that, of guys who are really like, there's no point. Guys say stuff like, you have to, like, these days in the West, you have to be like 6'4", you have to be a millionaire, you have to have 6-pack abs, and you have to do all this stuff just to have a hope that maybe like an average girl will even look at you. And that's like what they genuinely think. So they look at that and go, look, I have to be all these things that I'm not. So just to even have a hope of even being able to say hi to a girl without her spitting in my face. So what's even the point? So it goes back to that thing of responsibility, of like, well, it's just so impossible and so hard that, why even bother? And then everything's so stacked against me. They demand all this, and also feminism and everything else. And it'll be sexual harassment if I do it because I'm ugly and all this stuff. And the thing is I get it, because 3 years into my journey of studying mystery method and getting nowhere with it, I was literally there. I pretty much believed all of that, because I thought that my lack of result, that's the other terrible thing mystery method does to people, is it teaches you, like, look, these are the techniques. You do these techniques right, they will work. Right? Mystery says in the book, an MPUA, a master pickup artist, does the technique so well that 5 out of 5, right? He approaches 5 girls, he gets 5 numbers, he goes on 5 dates, he gets 5 relationships, he sleeps with 5 chicks, right? That's what perfection is, and that's impossible.
Yeah,
that's absurd.
Yeah,
because that essentially says that these techniques are so good that they remove women's free will. Right? Doesn't matter what her type is.
right.
Doesn't matter if she's already in a relationship. These techniques are so fucking good, you'll get laid if you use them right. And then the flip side of that is, if I don't get that result, I'm doing it wrong. And if I'm sure, I'm checking back over I'm doing all the techniques exactly as I said, well, there must be something really wrong with me. Because I know all the stuff. This is where I was. I know all the stuff. I'm doing it all just like the book says, and I'm not getting anywhere. So I must be so ugly, so unattractive to women for some reason, that this stuff can't even work for me. And that's where I was so close to giving up. And luckily then, and glad, and very, very glad. And that's the thing I was talking about with one of the guys outside, is I'm glad for all of it. Right? I'm glad I had those really negative experiences and worked through all that stuff. Getting into sort of mystery method stuff did put me on the path of like self-development and going to the gym and all this stuff, which I think is great. But I'm glad it was hard, because it got me to the exact place, right? It put me in that place where it's like, I have to do something different. I have to find something that's going to change things, and I have to take the responsibility to invest in myself and actually pay a lot of money at the time for me to invest in a course. So I'm glad I went through all of that. So for those guys, there absolutely is hope. There absolutely is hope, as long as you're willing to accept that maybe the results that you're currently experiencing are down to you and your beliefs.
So this is what I'm thinking. There's a guy sitting home right now, and he's watching his mobile device, and he's been thinking it's game over. Talk to that guy right there. Let him know that there is a little bit of hope. What would you say to him?
What I'd say is this. I absolutely understand that because I was there. I was in a moment a few years ago where I was ready to give up, where I was posting on a forum going, this whole game thing and meeting women and all these techniques, they're all bullshit, right? I know all of them. I've tried all of them. They haven't worked for me. And that must be because they can only work if you're already super good looking and super ripped and super successful and really rich and all the rest of it. And then an average guy like me, I can't even use these things to get anything. So there's just no point. I was right there. But what I'd say is this: women are not looking for perfection. There's no need for you to be perfect and have it made and have all this stuff. You don't need that. There's girls walking around. I guarantee you, because I prove this every single day when I do training with guys, just average guys like you and me, come on my trainings, and they experience this for themselves in person. They see it for themselves. That there's girls walking around today, right now, that would absolutely love to meet you just the way you are, exactly as you are right now. No change. You don't need to be even more ripped. You don't have to have any more money. You can come from the gym, be all sweaty and gross or whatever, and there's a girl walking around who would love to meet you. All you have to do is know the best way of starting that conversation, and you have to have the right beliefs in your mind to believe that when you go up to her, you're coming from the right place, the place of giving value in that conversation, the place of accepting yourself and being okay being present in that moment, and from a place of genuine curiosity, of wanting to get to know her and enjoying a social interaction just for its own sake. Not because you want to get something out of her from a place of neediness, but because you just love giving value in that moment, expressing yourself authentically, and taking, not just taking the responsibility for your results in your own life, but being willing to go and take action to go for what you want in life. Just doing that, just showing that you're willing to go for what you want in life to a woman is a very, very attractive trait. And that's something you can go outside and do right now.
That is quite optimistic. I like that. How can people find you?
They can go to infinitemansummit.com is the site. There's lots of different events and workshops that me and Sasha and our US instructor Mike do all around the world. And you can also find me on Facebook. I'm Ryan Black. There's a picture of this strange looking face on there. And definitely check out those sites, those workshops. Actually, Sasha has a really great new workshop he's doing called Comedy Therapy, which is all about using, finding humor in your past experiences and challenging scenarios and things in life. Finding humor in them so that you're able to talk about yourself, do a comedy set if you want to, but just be able to express those. And it's a really great way to not only have a lot of fun, get a bit more playful, but also actually find that self-acceptance. Like look back at your life and be like, I can actually laugh at those somewhat negative moments and experiences now. And it's a great way to connect with other guys, experience us and what Sasha does in kind of a fun way. And it's like $50 or something. So it's well worth checking out if one of those is in your area.
Ryan Black from indifference.com. Thank you, sir.
Thanks very much.